everyone, Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and what we're going to be doing today is using the Bowdabra. So let's thank Bowdabra for having me as a guest today. We're going to be using their device. This is the large design, and we're also going to be using their wire. So this is Bowdabra wire that comes on a 100-yard spool. I love working with both products, and they both create beautiful bows. So we're going to start off creating a Valentine's Day bow. And right here I have a leftover piece of wire from another project. So I'm just going to take this wire. It's a little long, but it should work just fine. We're going to take this wire and place it underneath our Bowdabra like this. And then we're going to start off with our largest ribbon. So as you guys come in, be sure to say hi. So we're going to take our ribbon. And what we can do first is we can create our tails, or we can do our tails after. I'm going to start off with our tails. I think it's easier to work in our larger tails. So I'm going to cut a length of our ribbon, take our ribbon and fold it in half to dovetail. So we're going to fold our ribbon in half and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge. And that's how you create a nice dovetail. And then we're going to place that into our Bowdabra, just like that. So now we're going to take our 2.5-inch ribbon and begin creating loops. So today behind the camera we have my older sister Alex, and also we have one of our good friends who's moving away relatively soon, which is pretty unfortunate. We're going to miss her a lot. Our friend Ashley, who is here with us. And Ashley, if you don't mind doing me a quick little favor, going upstairs and telling my dad to share this video, I greatly appreciate that. So we created one loop right here, and what we're going to do is create another loop on the opposing side. So in total, we have 2 loops right now with 2 long tails. So these tails, and what I always like to tell you guys is that the size of your loops and tails truly depends on how large of a bow you want to create. So these tails, just for reference, are about 20 inches long. You can create them longer, you can create them shorter. Totally depends on how large of a bow. Our loops are about 5.5 inches wide, and we're going to replicate the same 2 loops that we just created, so that we have 4 loops total.
We have Miriam who says hi, Brenda says hi, Anne, Crafters for Kids, Brian, Lehan, Ariane.
Welcome everybody.
Ariane would like to know if that is unwired ribbon.
So that's a great question. If you ever see me using unwired ribbon, it is only for fresh designs. For artificial designs or things that we can add to wreaths and lantern swags and stuff of that nature, I always make sure to use wired ribbon. So this is a 2.5-inch wired ribbon, and this ribbon actually came from Sam's Club. So $7 for 50 yards of this beautiful ribbon. And also, if you would like to win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon, which has a really cool texture, drop a comment in the comment section saying you would like to win, and you might just be the winner today for Bowdabra giving away a free roll of ribbon. And I mean, who doesn't love free ribbon? So we have 3 loops on either side. Now what we'll do is we'll cut off the ribbon, and notice that I left a little bit of an overhang right here. So this little overhang is important, just in case our wires become loose, or our pipe cleaner, or whatever we're using to secure our bow. If it becomes loose, you still have a little bit of leverage by having that overhang. So we have this ribbon. We're going to come back in with some of this. Give some hearts for these hearts. So this ribbon came from Jacobson Floral. It's a 50-yard spool. It was probably about $7 or $8, and I really like the look of it. So again, we're going to create some tails.
We have Melody from Florida today. We have Sean from Nebraska, Marlene from Louisiana.
Welcome. Thank you guys for joining. So now what are we going to do, Alex?
Dovetail.
We're going to dovetail. So this creates a very professional looking finished end of your ribbon. So I took our ribbon, placed either side on top of each other just like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this ribbon, fold it in half, and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge. So you're going to cut from the middle portion to the edges, which have the wire on it. If you do it the opposite way, you'll create kind of like a diamond, which honestly maybe we'll try doing one day. I don't really mind the look of it. But when you do it like this, you create a dovetail, which makes the ribbon look a little bit more professional. So now we're going to take this, place it into our Bowdabra, and then we can pull our tails towards us like that. And we can fluff everything afterwards. Basically, the use of the Bowdabra is essentially having extra hands. This holds everything in place, so you don't have to worry about having a tight grip or anything like that. So we place 3 loops of the 2.5-inch ribbon, about 5-inch loops on either side. Now we're going to come back in with 4 loops of the heart ribbon. And I like to rotate my Bowdabra as I'm working it in. So rather than rotate my ribbon or my hands, I just swivel my Bowdabra around. So since we have 5-inch loops, we're going to drop down to about 4-inch loops. We're going to gradually get smaller and smaller with this bow. I'm not 100% sure of the name of this bow. I think people call it the 3-2-1 bow because we're going from 3 ribbons to 2 ribbons to 1 ribbon. No, that doesn't make sense. We're using 3 ribbons, but we're creating largest to smallest. So I placed 2 on one side. Now we're going to do the same process on the other side with 1 more loop. And this ribbon kind of has a satin finish to it, which I really like the look of. So we have 4 pieces of the heart ribbon. Now we'll cut that off. And then we have 1 final ribbon right here that we've used in the past. So I always recommend you purchase ribbons that you can use for multiple seasons, multiple holidays. This is just a basic red ribbon, right? So we can use this for Christmas, we could use it for 4th of July, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, anything patriotic, not even just 4th of July, anything for veterans, you could use this ribbon. Basically, I like to purchase ribbons that you can use for multiple seasons and holidays. So I'm just going to create a single loop like this. The loop is going to be a little bit smaller than the 4-inch, so this loop's going to be about a 3-inch loop. And then what we'll do is we'll just have 1 tail. So I'm just going to cut 1 tail off, however long we want it, and we can dovetail that later on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our wire out of our Bowdabra, but the Bowdabra also comes with a wand that compresses all of your ribbon. I don't know what I did with that a long time ago, and truth be told, this works the best for me. I just take my ribbons and push them down just like that, and everything's good to go. So now we have our wire. We're going to feed our wire through until we get to the other side, and then I like to just kind of feed it through the opening of the Bowdabra, and then pull it really, really tight. Now we have all of our ribbons contained, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take one side of this wire, completely wrap it around the bow just for added security, pull that again to the back, and then that's when we can start tying it off to really make sure that we're not going to have our bow fall apart. So now we're just going to create a little slip knot like that, and I like to do that 2 or 3 times to really make sure that my bow is not going to fall apart. Now we have our bow. So this looks awful right now, but now it's the perfect time to fluff, and if we're going to be honest, this is the most important part, in my opinion, of creating a beautiful bow, which is fluffing.
Morgan says your videos really inspired her to start creating gifts for people.
Thank you. That's what we love to hear. So we're just going to separate our loops, fluff them out. Since this is wired ribbon, you always have to kind of run your fingers through it to get any creases out. Then we can take our Valentine's Day ribbon or our heart ribbon, fluff those out, and then take our final little bow tie. And I'm actually going to cut the tail off just a little bit. That way it's not sticking out so much. But like I said before, it is important to have a little bit. It just is extra security in making sure that your bow does not come apart.
We have a lot of people popping in. We have Margaret from Houston, Jill from Wisconsin, Sabrina from Alabama, Gloria from Ohio.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. So for those of you that don't mind sharing this, like I said before, I appreciate it. It helps us inspire people. And whether we're designing wreaths or anything, I hope people can take something away from these videos and be inspired to make their own or give things a try. Bows seem to be a very big thing that people struggle with. So if you're somebody that struggles with bows or know somebody, this video hopefully can help them or help you. So now we can pull our tails down. Typically, I don't really adjust these bows all that much until we place it on our final product. So this would look great on a lantern. It would look great on a wreath, on a swag, basically anywhere. I think this would look pretty on either side of our door. Our door has 2 lights on either side of it, so just having a large fancy bow like this on either side would be the perfect touch for Valentine's Day. And of course you can translate this style bow for any season, any holiday. So here we have a simple little Valentine's Day bow. Give some hearts if you guys like that one. I really like this technique, and it's something that we're definitely going to use a lot more often. So we have one bow right there. Now our next step is to cut another length of this wire. And this wire is thin enough where I feel comfortable cutting through it with my scissors. This is an issue that a lot of people have, including myself. You're very particular with your scissors. So these cut through it, no issue. It's not going to damage your scissors. The wire in this is as thick as the wire in your ribbon, but it does have a special coating on the outside, this kind of gold texture that keeps it from breaking for a wire of that size. So we're going to take a wire, put it into the Bowdabra again, and I placed it right in the slit on the top. And all I'm doing is I'm just tucking it underneath our Bowdabra, and now we can create some more bows. So we have this ribbon. This ribbon is really fun looking. It's very bright, very cheery. Kind of reminds me of something tropical for whatever reason. I think we just haven't seen colors like this in a very, very long time since we've been dealing with so much red and green. So we're going to do a traditional bow now. And this is a bow that works for any time of year. And it's been tried and true. It works. It looks great in any product. So we're going to cut off a length of the ribbon. See what we did right here? We just took them, laid them on top of each other, folded them in half, and now what are we going to do, Alex?
Dovetail.
Dovetail. So we're going to dovetail, create a finished looking edge of our ribbon. Take our ribbon, find the midway point, pinch it, place it into our Bowdabra, like that. Don't worry about those being in your way. You're going to have to fluff those afterwards anyway. Now we're going to take our ribbon. We're going to take our ribbon, put the ugly side down, or the side we don't want showing, into the device. And you might be wondering, why did we place that side down like that? You can't see the pretty print. But then when you gather your ribbon, which again, I like to twist my device. When you gather your ribbon again, the pretty side is revealed once again. But this is the part that people seem to get confused on. I always take my ribbon and completely twist it in the opposite direction. So that's 180 degrees. That's not 360. That'd go back to the original. So 180 degrees, you're going to twist your ribbon and place it as far into the device as you can. To keep your bows in place, by adding that pressure, it really keeps your ribbon locked in between the hands.
Marlene says the ribbon makes her think of gumballs, which is what I was thinking at first, too.
I know. It does look like gumballs. But you could be mixing other colors with it, or you could just be doing what we're doing right now, which is just a very simple one ribbon traditional bow. So we're going to repeat that pattern over and over again until we have as many loops as we want. Keep in mind, you guys, the more loops you have, the more full your bow is going to be. That seems pretty obvious, but it's not necessarily the case we want for every situation. Sometimes I actually prefer only doing about 3 or 4 loops on either side. It's not going to create a full bow, but those bows work better in wreaths that you're incorporating a lot of florals into. So if you want to have some ribbon and have a bow in your design, but don't want it to be overpowering and kind of want it more so incorporated into your wreath, I definitely suggest using less loops rather than more. But if you're doing what we're doing today, where you want an immediate impact with a beautiful, large, beautiful bow, the more loops is the better choice. So far we've added 4 to either side. We'll do 1 more on either side, and that should give us plenty of loops. And the loops on this are about 4.5 inches wide, so our bow is going to be a pretty decent size when all is said and done. Now we're going to cut off our ribbon. We don't need an extra tail. Place it in the device. Push down again. Take our Bowdabra wire. Feed it through. Right on the top like that. And then pull it down towards us. So now that we have it kind of enclosed, we can take it out of our device. Take one of the wires. So we have one wire. We're just going to take it to the other side. Pull again really tightly, and then we can create some of these slip knots.
Thank you, Linda. She said I'm doing a great camera job.
You are. Then we can just tie it off.
We have Marie who says hi, Callie who says hi from Florida, Edna says she loves that ribbon.
Thank you. But yeah, let's give Alex a round of applause because she is incredible. She records 99% of my tutorials, and I mean, what more can I ask for? from her. She's amazing. She comes to all of my events with me. She's my bodyguard. She protects me. She supports me. She's just incredible. So kudos to her. Now we can pull our tails down, and let's say our tail got kind of squished up. This is what happens with wired ribbon. It holds its shape wonderfully, which isn't always the best for us, especially for those of you that don't get into the habit of fluffing your ribbon. I highly, highly encourage running your fingers through the wires, get any creases out. It creates a much better looking bow. So often I get asked, does it matter if you use high quality ribbons or inexpensive ribbons or something that has a very thick wire? It does make it easier to create a bow having better quality ribbon with a better wire. But the most important part of bow making, in my opinion, is fluffing it like this. That way you're able to create a beautiful bow. So give some hearts if you guys like that. We've created now kind of a gumball themed bow, if you will, a Valentine's Day bow. Let's keep it going. We have some football ribbon we can work in if we wanted to. Let's do kind of another Valentine's Day inspired bow using some of these ribbons. So these ribbons are kind of a canvas textured ribbon. So these are a little bit thicker and a little bit nicer quality to work with. So we're going to take another length of our wire.
Andrea would like to know where she can buy the Bowdabra machine.
So there will be links in the comments section. You can go to Bowdabra.com and order your Bowdabra. You can order it through Amazon. I'll come back and provide some links as well. You can pick them up at Michael's. Michael's carries them. And I was actually at Michael's 2 days ago, and it was really cool seeing the display of all of the products. So we're going to take our ribbon, we cut a length of it, and we're just going to place it into our Bowdabra like we've been doing. For this one, you know what? Let's see. You know what? We're actually going to do a different technique. Make it a little bit more fun. So we're going to do kind of a funky bow. So we're going to start off with a tail. And I'm not going to dovetail it as we work. We can dovetail everything afterwards. So we're going to create a tail about 8 or 9 inches long and then create a single loop. So here we have one loop, and then we also have a tail on the opposing side. So now what we can do is we can just snip that off very easily. Place it into our Bowdabra, and what we can do is we can separate it now if we want, or we can do that afterwards. We're going to come back in with another ribbon, and you can pick up these ribbons from Deco Exchange. You can pick them up from Trendy Tree, Craft Outlet. They all carry these beautiful ribbons. So now what we're doing is we're just alternating it. So since we placed one loop and 2 tails of the chevron on one side, we worked in the loop of this solid pink one on the other side. So everything is just vice versa, if that makes sense. We're just alternating it. We're switching the sides. So now we're going to work in this fuchsia colored stripe ribbon. So all 3 of these have different shades, and they're going to work beautifully together.
Shavetta would like to know where you can buy good ribbons.
So the stores that I just listed, those online retailers, they have great quality ribbon. Trendy Tree, Deco Exchange, Craft Outlet, Trends and Gems, another great source. So if your tails aren't the same length, honestly, guys, it's not going to make a huge difference. If it's any more than 2 or 3 inches, then you might want to kind of adjust it like that. But other than that, truth be told, it's not going to make a huge difference. Now we're going to come back in with our second layer of the same ribbon. Again, snip it off. And then come back in with the solid pink. So again, just alternating it. Very simple, very easy. But give some hearts if these videos are helpful for you guys. With your support, we're able to create more and more of these videos. So we always love to hear your feedback as well. If there's a certain holiday or season you would like us to design for, let us know. And I think we're actually going to stop after this one. Typically we work in 3 of the same ribbons, but I think 2 is going to be more than enough. We're going to have 6 total loops and 12 total tails, if that's right. Yep. So now what we're going to do is compress it, like I said before. Take our end of our ribbon, our wire, feed it through the Bowdabra until we get to the other side, and then we can just pull it tight, and then take it out of our device. Again, if you want to win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon, comment down below that you would like to win, and you could just be our lucky winner today. Bowdabra is giving away a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. So now we're just doing the same thing, wrapping it around, creating a little knot. And now, real quick, what we're going to do, just to show you guys how much prettier the ribbon looks, is we're just going to dovetail. Fold in half, cut from the middle out towards the wired edge. I think this is pretty critical. I think it creates the perfect look to your bows. A little tedious, but I think it pays off in the end having nice ends like this. So we're about halfway done dovetailing.
Teresa would like to know if you have to use that wire.
This wire, you certainly don't have to use it. We're using it in the video. You could use a pipe cleaner if you want, but you are getting 100 yards for, you know, only a few dollars, if that. So now that we've dovetailed all of them, we have this mess of a bow. And what we're going to do now is what, Alex? Let's see if you remember.
Dovetail.
No, we just dovetailed.
Fluff.
We're going to fluff. We're going to fluff. So now we're going to pull all of our loops apart, adjust them.
We have our winner.
We have our winner.
Jenny Hancock.
Congratulations, Jenny. You just won a free roll of scrunchy ribbon, and I believe the options are red, silver, or gold, if I'm correct. So Bowdabra will contact you, or you can contact Bowdabra, and you just won yourself a free roll of ribbon.
Congratulations.
I know. Who doesn't love free ribbon? And Bowdabra gives a roll of free ribbon every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 Central, 5 Pacific. Pacific is 3 hours difference, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking wrong. I think it's 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain. Is that one? Is Mountain? Is that one of them? I feel like that's one of them. You guys can correct me in the comments section. Clearly, we don't leave the house all that much. But here is our Valentine's Day themed bow that all we have to do is fluff it to get it to our liking using minimal amounts of ribbon. So if you have leftover rolls of ribbon, bows like this are the perfect way to finish up those rolls because they just create very simple bows with very powerful impact. So how much time do we have left?
We have 8 minutes.
8 minutes. All right, we're going to do a quick little lantern swag. If you guys want, show some hearts if you'd like to see a little lantern swag, or comment down below us creating a very simple small lantern. We love to hear your feedback. If this is something you'd like to see, we can do it. And if that's the case, we'll do, I think, a Valentine's Day one would be kind of pretty. Okay, so we'll do it. We're going to take our gold wire, cut a length of it, take our Bowdabra, place it in the Bowdabra on either side, and we're going to create a little bow. So for this bow, let's try another technique, which I don't think I've done before in the Bowdabra. So hopefully everything works out to our liking. So I'm going to take our ribbon, create a single loop with some long tails like that, snip them off. As you can see, I'm not putting too much thought into it. I'm just creating something very simple, very inexpensive, and very easy. Now we'll come back in with this 1.5 inch ribbon, do the same exact process, create a single loop. See up top, we're just creating a very simple loop with a couple tails on either side. Now we'll just cut that off at a length, and we'll just repeat that once more, but smaller tails. So now I'm creating only a tail about, what, 4.5 inches, 5 inches. Notice all of the loops are on the surface. I think that'll give us the effect I'm trying to go for. We'll do one more. Snip it off right about here. So now we have our wire. Our bow has been compressed. We'll take our wire, feed it through the Bowdabra. take our small little bow out, take one of the wires, wrap it around like we've been doing, keeps it from falling apart, twist it secure from the back. But again, if you guys that are just joining don't mind sharing this, we greatly appreciate it. Take our little bow. We can fluff it at this point, or we can fluff it once we secure it to our lantern. For the actual lantern, as much as I love this wire, I think a thicker gauge wire, so if you do sell these, you might want to use a thicker gauge wire, something like 20. And I use a moss-covered wire. That way when I ship these, our customers have the option of attaching it to whatever lantern they want, because we don't provide the lanterns. But I'll just create a little knot and tie this off. I'll probably keep this for my own home and decorate my own home with this. So I just tied it off there. Now we can just remove the little wires very simply like that. So if I was to sell this, this is not the technique I would do to sell it. Then we can take our tails, pull them apart, and we can dovetail those later. And we also can take them and curl them up. This is a technique that I've been doing just for a little while now, and I really like the look of it, cascading down with little curls like that. Especially in wreaths, I think it adds the perfect look. So again, we're just going to curl them up a little bit.
We have a few people wondering what scissors you're using.
So I'm using Fiskars, which for those of you that have been following me for a long time now, you guys know I love my Betty Crocker dollar store scissors. These are something that my grandmother got for me from Joann's. She used a 50% off coupon. There's a wreath under me, so I'm stepping on the wreath. My sister hears a weird noise and she's wondering what it is. It's just a wreath. So now we have a little bit of greenery that we can work in if we wanted to. So I'm just going to make this real quick, short and sweet. Cut a few pieces of this greenery off. Nothing fancy. Move over to my glue skillet right here. Take a few pieces of this and make sure there's good contact with the ribbon. Take a couple more pieces. And we can come back in with a few flowers afterwards. That one looks like it's going to slip off.
Oh.
It slipped off. I'll add a little bit more glue. I knew that was going to happen. We're going to take one little more piece of greenery. So notice I'm placing it just on the ribbon itself. I'm not placing it on the lantern. When we make lanterns to sell, we never want to secure things to the lantern because the lanterns do not come with the swag. For those of you that sell your lanterns, if you're making this for your own home, you don't have to worry about that. But if you're giving this to a friend, they might already have a lantern that they want to put things on. So here we have a little bush from Michael's. It was $1.99, 30% off or whatever. Or you can pick them up from the dollar store. For something small like this, you don't have to be using high quality, extremely expensive florals. Little bits and pieces like this work perfectly. And like I said, I'm securing it just to the bow. And even if you don't sell wreaths, like I said, you don't want to secure it to the lantern because this would only work for Valentine's Day. So if you take things and secure them to the lanterns, what ends up happening is you can't switch out your decor without ripping everything apart. And if you try to save things from year to year, it might be a little bit more difficult taking things off. So here we have a couple little white flowers. We'll add a little bit of red and we will be done. Berries or geraniums?
Berries.
Berries. Okay, so we have a few of these berries. These came from Michael's as well, probably a while back now. And we'll just finish this up real quick, short and sweet. But give this video a like if it has been informative for you, if it's been helpful in any way possible. I love to hear your feedback. Without all of these glue strings, it's because I'm dragging it across like that. We have one more little cluster of berries that I just broke up in my hand purposefully. We'll just take those, secure them to the ribbon. Very simple. Take a little bit more. And then moment of truth. Like I said, we didn't dovetail these, so it's just a little tiny, inexpensive lantern. I lied. We'll place one more berry. Underneath. So we have maybe $2 invested in this. So you can easily replicate this very easily. All right. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We created a simple little lantern swag with only a handful of minutes. We created this pretty Valentine's Day bow, or just spring bow in general. You could add some hearts to this. This was using less than a yard of each ribbon. Very simple to create. So if you have leftover ribbons from presents or you name it, you can create a bow using that. We also created probably my favorite out of the bunch, which is this Valentine's Day bow, which could use some fluffing after having everything thrown on top of it. So we created this one. Let me know which one's your favorite between the lantern, the spring or Valentine's Day one, the Valentine's Day one, and the traditional one right here, which also needs a little bit of fluffing. So I hope this video has inspired you. If you don't mind sharing this and commenting and giving this video a like, I appreciate it. Again, Nick of Nick's Seasonal Decor, watching me on Bowdabra today. I want to thank Bowdabra for having me as a guest, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye, everyone.
Bye.